I never thought in 2026 we would be seeing people jailed for posting Bible verses or even crass jokes.
Jailed for a Bible verse. In 2026, in a Western democracy, that's not a hypothetical, it's a real question being asked in the United States Congress. If that sentence doesn't stop you cold, it should. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. We cover real hearings, real footage, and the real fight for free speech, without spin, without hysteria, just facts and principles. What you're about to hear is not a viral clip taken out of context. It's an official congressional hearing. Congressman Mark Harris directly questioning a Finnish politician who was criminally prosecuted for posting a Bible verse. This is happening in an EU and NATO country, not a dictatorship, not an enemy state, one of our supposed allies. And it raises a serious question every American should care about. If this can happen there, how long before they try to normalize it here?
We will do that. We're going to go to the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of you on the panel for being here to share today. We've heard a lot in your testimony, and Dr. Rasna, I want to come to you. What Bible verse did you post that caused you to be criminally prosecuted?
Thank you. It was from the book of Romans, 1st chapter, and verses 24 to 27.
Okay. And could you help me know why you chose that particular passage to post?
The Apostle Paul teaches in these verses about the marriage and about the same-sex relationships, and he defines them as sinful and shameful.
And what message were you trying to convey in that?
I wanted to make it clear that if the leadership of the church is supporting the Pride event, it is in contradiction with its basis, the Bible.
Okay. And after you posted the Bible verse, if I understand correctly, you were charged under Finland's war crimes and crimes against humanity law.
Yes, we have in that section, we have a law about agitation against minorities.
During the hearing, Congressman Mark Harris asked Finnish politician Päivi Räsänen a simple but powerful question. What Bible verse did you post that led to your prosecution? Her answer was straightforward. She cited Romans chapter 1 verses that discuss marriage and sexual morality as taught by the Apostle Paul. She explained she shared the verse because her church leadership was supporting a Pride event, and she believed that position contradicted biblical teaching. That was it. No threats, no calls for violence, no harassment, just a scripture passage. For that, she was charged under Finland's law prohibiting what they call agitation against minorities. Let's be clear here. This was not about war crime. It was not about incitement. It was about speech that the government disapproved of.
Wow. Well, as a pastor for 37 years now myself, to think of someone that can be criminally charged for posting a Bible verse in the EU and NATO country worries me deeply. And as you've already heard from this panel today, God bless you. God bless you for coming here today to share your story. And my prayer is that it causes people to wake up to the threats that we are facing from those who seek to undermine our God-given right to free expression. We even saw just in a piece of the video clip that Mr. Biggs shared of when the storm was a church was stormed right there in Minneapolis and leaving families scattering and all kinds of threats that were felt that day and still dealing with that even now. I also want to state to you, Mr. Price, one of the things that brings Western countries together is our shared values. And in my view, the right to freedom of speech is one of these values. While I understand our European counterparts have not always been as gung-ho, perhaps, about free speech as us in the United States, I never thought in 2026 we would be seeing people jailed for posting Bible verses or even crass jokes. Thankfully, high-profile Americans are calling out our friends for this madness. In February of 2025, Vice President Vance gave a high-profile speech at the Munich Security Conference in which he urged Europeans to turn away from censorship and re-embrace fundamental free speech principles. What effect, Mr. Price, do you think that Vice President's words had, and what signal did they send to Europe?
Congressman Harris, himself a pastor for decades, said what many Americans were thinking. The idea that someone could face criminal charges for quoting the Bible in a Western democracy should deeply concern anyone who values freedom of expression, and he's right. This hearing wasn't just about Finland. It was about a broader trend across Europe, where speech is increasingly treated as something the state licenses instead of a right that people inherently possess. Harris pointed out something important. One of the reasons Western nations are allies is because of shared values, and freedom of speech has always been one of those values. Yes, America and Europe have different legal traditions, but jailing people for religious speech crosses a line. The hearing also referenced a major speech given by Vice President J.D. Vance at the Munich Security Conference, where he openly warned European leaders about the dangers of censorship and government-controlled speech.
I think they were very impactful because the administration was shining a light on the nature of the problem. This is going to get worse. We have people being arrested for praying silently in the UK. We have people being prosecuted for posting Bible verses, for making jokes. The European Union is attempting now to export that through the Digital Services Act and force it on Americans, these European laws. And they're not going to back down easily because, as you can see with the approach they've taken to X, when a company commits itself to free speech, they have to stop that because of, as I say, I think they see it as an existential threat. And I'm ashamed to say, as an Irishman, my own country is playing a central role in this because most of these large US platforms are headquartered in Dublin. And it's the Irish regulator that's cooperating closely with the European Commission in enforcing this. And as I said on the last occasion, I really hope that the United States, using its diplomatic channels, brings this home to the Irish government, that forcing American companies to police American speech and generally to police anyone's speech is wrong, and that if they escalate in this direction, it's going to cause significant additional problems.
Well, and I applaud our Vice President for his speech, and I hope we can continue to remind our friends and allies of the value of free speech and expression. Unfortunately, we've heard in today's hearing, we have a long way to go. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back to you.
Another witness testified that this warning mattered because sunlight matters. We're already seeing arrests in parts of Europe for silent prayer, jokes, and online posts. And now the European Union is attempting to export these rules through digital regulations that pressure American tech companies to enforce European speech standards on U.S. users. That should alarm every American, left, right, or center. Because once governments decide speech is an existential threat, the definition of acceptable opinion always keeps shrinking. Here's the principle at stake, and it's not complicated. In a free society, speech is not protected because it's popular. It's protected because it's free. If governments can criminalize scripture today, they can criminalize dissent tomorrow. History is very clear on that. You don't have to agree with what was said to defend the right to say it. That's the American tradition, and it's one worth defending loudly, calmly, and unapologetically. This conversation is not over, and it won't stay overseas. So here's what I want to hear from you in the comments. Should the U.S. push back harder when allies abandon free speech? Or do we stay silent and hope it never comes here? If you found this breakdown valuable, hit like, subscribe, and share this video so more people hear what's actually happening, not what the headlines sanitize. Stay informed, stay grounded, and never take free speech for granted.